Real African stories, real African experiences. This is the Legally Clueless video series, proudly powered by Guinness Black Shine's Brightest. Stay tuned to the end to find out more. And in this episode, Dennis shares his story on masculinity and blending the rules.
So my name is Dennis Karori Ngari, and I don't know if all of you are familiar with three names, but around here we do have three names. So Dennis Karori Ngari from Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya. I was also born and raised in Nairobi, Kenya, but my roots are in somewhere in Murang'a. So Dennis Karori as a child was a very fun kind of boy. I was very energetic, and as I still am very energetic. And I'm as a kid, I was very playful. And I also was very, very fabulous. Like I was very sassy as a kid. And I remember, in school, that's what gave me popularity automatically in my primary school. And, I was very, very, very much familiar with things to do with cooking, beauty. I could steal my mom's lipsticks. And, anytime my dad is around, my mom will be like, yo, chill. But that's besides the point. As a kid, I was very much jovial. And I was also a brilliant kid because, like in our system here in Kenya, we used to have like the preschool. So preschool was, I think, baby class, nursery, pre-unit, then class 1. So me, I went to baby class, then I immediately went to pre-unit, and then pre-unit and class 1, I did that for 1 year actually. And it was just, the headmaster was like, hey, this boy is very brilliant for you. He cannot stick around with these other kids. Let him just go to now class 2. So preschool to now primary school took me 2 years. Yeah, but I was also, when, as a kid, creativity, I think I was just born with creativity. I used to literally look for material, sew material together and make an outfit just by myself, period. I could do that. And when I was in school, I was always drawing things, always drawing things. I could also write things. I was also very, very much good in like coming up with rhyming words for people. Like there are kids who are like good at, when we hear a song there, the beats, so I was good at that. So I think creativity is something that was like inside of me ever since I was a kid. So growing up, I don't think this is anything that my parents thought could be, like anything that is like special, because I think it's not very normal. So it was just there, but I was not like drawn towards it in terms of now being taught to enhance my creativity, taught how to, express myself. So I remember this time there was this Beyonce song. Sorry, had to say Beyonce. But there was this Beyonce song and I was in school and I remember there was this dance that went like, oh. So I used to call a few of my girlfriends and be like, come and show you this dance. I think it's really cool. So you have to do this. Then when you do this, arch your back and make sure you shake your bam bam a bit. And I had a crush on someone at the time and they showed up in the room and I immediately ran away because the embarrassment is real. So that's where a lot of realization came in, because as a kid, mom was very, very much supportive of me. My mom was very much like, she's never been like, remove my shoes, don't wear my lipstick, don't wear those clothes. She'd be like, when dad comes around, just don't do that because he's not expecting that from you. Also, my elder brother was also kind of like, yo, you don't have to do this. But, they were family and they were not like bringing it in a bad light. So I didn't think this is anything that would like be viewed in a certain way until I went to high school. So this is me in high school. I'm joining this high school. Before I joined high school, actually, because of now having to, skip some classes, some some classes. Because of that, I finished my KCPE when I was 12 years. Yes, and at the time, mom was very scared. She was always telling me, I think you'll go get bullied because people are being told that, hey, these Kenyan high schools, hey, you'll be told to call your parents with that shoe of that captain whose feet are smelly, and they ask you to call home and make sure your parent picks up and they bring you snacks the following day. You can imagine the frustration. So my mom was like, I don't think you're ready to go to high school yet because you're very young. And like my mom thought I'm soft in nature, of which I don't think I'm really soft. I'm hardcore. Anyway, so mom was like, you really have to repeat because I don't care. You are my little boy. You're going to go. You're going to be harassed. At least stick around, develop some deep voice. At least And I did. But then that gave me so much stress. To be honest, I was so stressed, repeating. Oh God, I'm a winner, baby. Period. So repeating, like I got so stressed, I developed very serious ulcers. Yes, because also I was taken out to a private school, and these were those private schools that when you hear the praises about that school, you're like, they will literally teach you handwriting and cane you in the process. So that school, discipline was very, very prominent. Period. So just by the nature of like what I knew about the school gave me stress. So I remember my mom used to she paid for prescription of milk. I had milk prescription morning, midday, and also evening. And that teacher was called Teacher Hesbon. Big up. So I finished and I passed and I now went to high school. And the high school I went to was somewhere in Central Province. And good thing or bad thing, I don't know, one of the dormitories was named after me, Karuri. Yes. If you do your research, Africa, among the Kenyan communities, Karuri formed, he has played a role in those times of the colonial rule. So Karuri, that being my name, is also named after a dormitory in the school. So that was an automatic selling point of popularity. And I immediately got popular in high school. Moving forward, Form 1, I was very, very, I was just like in my own bubble, honestly, because I was just trying to read the vibe, to read the energy. Still, I was myself. But then when I got to Form 2, I now started joining the arts, okay? So I joined drama, music, but before that, I was like, hey, I was judging those people who were doing drama because they were always going to those trips and, coming back with scandals. But I was like, you know what? This is Form 2. I'm growing up. Let me just experience. So there was this play that actually was really good. We even this close to literally being called to the State House because it was a very Kenyans and Kenyan high schools and the drama festivals, they're very competitive. So there was this play, and the only role that was not casted was a female role. No one wanted to cast for that role. Who am I? I casted for it. And I did it so well. Trust me, I did it so well. I meet people from other schools nowadays and they tell me, Dennis, that was not you on stage, that was a girl. Because my voice had not broken and I was very sassy. I had some very weird makeup on, but that was makeup of the time. And there was a makeup artist who did that for us. It was just so crazy and interesting. So because of that drama, the role I played, of course, popularity now became even more because I used to be awarded certificates for best actor in front of the whole school. And now they started calling me names. So the name, the name that I was being called in the play was Sophia. So literally that was my name in high school. If anyone from that school is watching, everyone was calling me Sophie, Sophia. And I was like, yeah, bring it on. But it had a certain effect on me, honestly, because I was like, I am not Sophia, to be honest. My name is Dennis. And that's just what it is. So I started, I became a bit defensive because people are asking me some questions, and I started doing practice. Like, I practiced on how to behave myself, because they're always talking about how I was walking, how I was talking. So I did like a 21-day, change of behavior, and successful. During this change, during this 21-day practice, I felt mostly determined to prove that, I was in so much denial that whatever you guys are calling me, that's not me. So I had a lot of determination to prove that, I am not who you think I am, of which I think it's just naivety and, trying to be accepted. And that was not right, to be honest, because the reason why I did it was not even for me. I was doing it for my classmates. And that is where I was wrong, because I didn't even allow myself to feel that this is not me being me. I allowed myself to feel like I have to do this so that I fit in, okay? And I managed to do it, and it went along from Form 2 all the way to campus. Yes. Yes, I had closed off that chapter. Like, I had literally blocked myself. I had literally put myself inside a box that is never to be opened again. Yeah, and to be honest, it had a toll on me, because over time I could have a lot of emotion that was just making me feel down. Because in as much as I'm trying to do all these things, I'm not feeling like it's coming from a place of truth, from a place of genuineness, from a place of, me. So it was a bit tiring, to be honest. Yeah, to be honest, it was a bit tiring. But I could not feel being tired, because the denial was what was taking over me, to be honest. Yeah. So I did not break my shell in campus, really. It was actually after campus that I decided to just turn my back and follow myself, follow my path, follow me, and just live about me. And campus was the very first time I started also dating. All this time I was doing fake dates, to be honest. I was lying to myself. So I was in a relationship in campus that lasted for a year, and among the things that literally moved me from the dark, because to be honest, if you're not aware you're in the dark, that's just how it is. So in 2014, I was in my second year, and I was in this relationship. It was nice, I was okay. But then when my mom passed on, that's where things hit the rock. And, my relationship ended because of the same. I had to mourn my mom. I was doing exams these exams were to take me to the third year. I was not even able to do my exams because of the depression, the anxiety. My mom was my best friend. And to be honest, the only thing that I was aware of is, how am I going to be successful enough to make my mom proud? Now my mom is no longer there. Who am I supposed to make proud? I had a lot of suicidal thoughts. I had a lot of, like, nilirudi nyuma. Yeah, like, I could not fathom, I did not understand. And also, death is something that just hits you different. I did not really understand what is happening to me at the time. So that is the very first time it hit me that you and only you have you. It's your life to live. You can only live your own life. It's not your mom's life. It's not your dad's life. It is your life. So that awareness came to me, and I decided to make things work for me, because mom was the one paying my rent, dad was the one paying my school fees. So I decided to join modeling, and I paid for modeling training. There was this agency that came about, and it turned out to be a scam, by the way. Oh, this life, it's crazy. There was this agency that I paid, and guys, if you have to pay to join an agency, it's a scam. That's the first lesson. period. So I joined this agency and they said that this money you're paying is for training, of which they were training us. And to be honest, it was not such a loss because I became good until I now started training my other models. But this was not being paid. I was not being paid for training. They were like, yo, hey, Dennis is so good. Hey, come help us. And I was like, hey, I'm feeling myself. But no, girl, no. So I was helping out with the training and, you know, we used to get a few gigs here and there, but most of them were kind of free because we could spend so much time going for training only for us to be paid 2,000 shillings that maybe you spent even literally, when you count the transport, the food and everything you've spent, it's literally even 5 times the 2,000 you're paid for that one gig. And through this modeling, that's where makeup came in. That's where my life began. That's where I kind of found out what I'm made of and where I can really, really express my creativity. I'm passionate about fashion. I'm passionate about, beauty, hair. Like also as a kid, hair was a big thing for me. I used to put like a towel on my hair and be like, girl, yes. But when it came to makeup, it just had a certain spark in me. And there was this time, it was actually the very first day of auditioning that makeup was done on me. And, we had to do a photo shoot for now, for casting, the models to be casted. And I looked so good in the pictures. I was like, wow, so this is what makeup can do for you. And it made me feel good outside and inside. And that is where the spark started. And I carried on with the spirit by helping my fellow models with any problems they had with their makeup. I was helping them with like touching up anything. Like I will just be like there for like the girls who would need anything. So at this time, I didn't think that this is anything that, I could, make a career from. So one day, there's this model who we were modeling with, and a designer from Tanzania came in, and she was like, my makeup artist has failed me, and I really need my models to have their makeup done. And not just makeup, creative African makeup. And you can imagine, first job of makeup, you're being told, we need a creative African look. You have to do it, because this is a show that has guests waiting. It's a place that people have paid for, so you have to make it work. So I'm over there. I thought, whenever I see a girl in foundation, I'll be like, hey, I can't even see your skin. You look fake. So that was just a lot of naivety. Maybe I was just nervous, very naive, because I did not apply foundation on my models on that day. They had no foundation on, but I made sure their skin is flawless. So I could take a bit of product and just conceal any blemish that I could see, and then do a powder on top, and then now start doing the details. So I could take concealer of like, I could take concealer from like from someone with like a white skin tone, and take that concealer from that specific product and use the back of the brush to now make dots on the face. And I discovered that there and then, because there were no paint brushes, and YouTube insisted you have to be a professional artist, you have to make the dots. So I just used the back of the brush, which was automatically round, ting, 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 done and dusted. And I was done with my models. I even started now helping my colleague with her models. And we got paid, and we were paid like 3 times more than the models. And the models were like, okay, now time for the cash. Me, I was already paid. And I could hear what they were paid, and I just kept quiet. I was like, interesting. This is very interesting. Interesting. And that's where I knew, if I'm getting paid for this, then this is what I'm going to do. And remember, I'm still in campus. With time, I kind of tried to source my stuff slowly, and I managed to have a kit filled with products. And I remember I went with this kit at home, and that's where problems began. And I cannot really call them problems, but questions. They were questions, problematic questions. What are these? What are you doing with this bag? Have you decided to now do this thing full time? That's my sisters, my dad, my brother. They're like, yo, you are doing agriculture. Nayo, what about it? And I was just like, it's paying my rent. Before that, I could not afford rent. I've had a lot of problems, by the way, trying to raise money for convenience in school. So makeup gave me that and more. Actually, I got the financial power, and it was not really affecting my schoolwork because most of the gigs are during the weekends. So I could take gigs during the weekend and also weekdays. Rare. It's rare to get gigs during weekdays. So it was mostly weekends. Now, when I went home with the kid, that's where the question started. But then, to be honest, it was already printed in my heart like a tattoo that I love it, and I'm doing this. I didn't know that I'm going to do it for life, but I knew I'm doing it. So this time I'm in fourth year. My dad has literally, he's torn himself apart in terms of like trying to make things work for us. So also my school fees started becoming a problem. And I remember he visited me in school one time, and I was kicked out of the exam room because I had not paid my fees. And I met him at the gate, and he seemed like he was kind of crying. And something inside me was just telling me, it's okay, like you're good. Dad is not okay right now. I can see it, but you're good. You got this. So show Dad that you got this. So I just told Dad, don't worry, by the way. I don't think this is anything that's now going to make me stop, to just like make me stop. I'll keep on trying. I kept on trying until now, the campus management, they were like, no, Dennis, no money, no studies, leave. And I was in my fourth year, remaining only one semester to clear and graduate. And they were like, nope, cannot do that, of which I understand it's business. So I told my dad, Sawa, let's see how it goes. I now started doing the makeup thing more like, I just started doing it more because that's the only time. Now I only had time for makeup. I did not have time for school anymore because I was kicked out. And makeup was now starting to grow, but to be honest, I was not doing it as a professional. I had no professional training. I had no professional background. I was just doing what I know, of which was not the best, but it worked. It definitely worked. So that was now 2016. So 2016, I was supposed to graduate in 2017 and finish my semester in 2016. So in 2017, all my classmates are out of school and we are together. Everyone is just trying to make things work. Me, on my side, Dennis is working. Y'all were doing the exams. I was working. I was making money. So see you guys on the other side. I'm working class right now. I can't relate. I'm not a student. And like, I just flowed through. They graduated and like, I was making money at this time. But then I now started doing my research and trying to make it as professional as possible. So this is 2017. 2018 now, I started getting jobs with media companies. So there's a very, very old media company in Kenya. It's called Kenya Broadcasting Company, KBC, right? So KBC, and they gave me I was doing makeup for a whole series set. It was called Stringed, and it was so dramatic, and I was there for all the drama. So I was doing makeup for that drama series and everything. But then there was a problem. When it comes to these organizations, there's corruption that happens at some point. So I could get my salary this time, next time I don't get salary, this time I get salary, next time. I got fed up. So I went from a media house to another, and I don't know if it's just a pattern, but none of them was like genuine in terms of payment. There was this media house that they literally, like, I'm there every day spending my money going, coming, eating and everything. They were even providing food. But then they've not paid you for 3 months and they still expect you to show up at work. You can imagine. So my journey, my very first journey as a makeup artist was rough. It was very, very rough, especially working with the media houses. But corruption is real, guys. It happens. So whoever was supposed to pay me was putting the money in their pockets, and they were like, Dennis, see ya. Which is so wrong, of which I don't know about you, but I'm good. I now started, I now decided to leave this employment vibes, and I decided to just be a freelance makeup artist by myself. And that was now in 2018. At this time, remember, I'm not Dennis, I'm Dennis. Okay? I am Dennis. Period. At this time, I am Dennis. I was not wearing any makeup. It's a taboo, guys. Men don't wear makeup. At the time, that was what was in my head. I knew you cannot use yourself as a model. You cannot use this is not your canvas. Your canvas has to be a woman, okay? And if it's a man, you make it look masculine, okay? And I knew that's what I knew was the norm, okay? Until sometime in 2018, towards the end of 2018, the story is a bit uncomfortable to say because it just made me come to a point of like, what the actual F? What is this life? And it dawned on me that I am powerful in my truest nature. That is where power lies. And whatever I went through, it was because I was at a point of weakness, okay? Yeah, I don't think I'm comfortable saying it, but so that was the turning point. And it was in 2018, December. And at the time I was really busy. Oh, I was so busy. And I had some mental here and there, whatever. And, being in that space of being extremely booked, you are not in your right headspace. That took me to a state of kind of like depression. And I could not really understand why I'm feeling what I'm feeling because it was sad. It was sad. Yeah, I'm not about to cry, but it was sad. So the New Year's Eve, 2018 to 2019, I got a booking. So this booking was this DJ. She's a famous DJ in Kenya, and she has a PA who's very queer and flamboyant. And the PA is my friend right now. And I did makeup on the DJ, and the DJ insisted, my PA needs makeup too, so you have to do makeup on my PA. And over there doing masculine makeup on this PA because he is a guy. And the PA is like, no, I need eyebrows, I need eyelashes, I need lipstick, I need you to blend the foundation all the way down, make it extra, okay? And I was like, this is new. I've never done anything like this before. And I'm gonna do it. So I beat that face to the gods. And he was giving the whole event, he was the spotlight. And immediately after doing his makeup, I sat down, looked at myself in the mirror, and I took a brush. I did something on my face, and I made it masculine. But then I popped on eyebrows that were concealed. I concealed my eyebrows, and I also did like a gloss. Like men wore lip balm. I did a gloss that was like popping. And I went out, and I also took a picture, and I went to, the DJ also invited me to her gig. So I went, and there was no bad energy, to be honest. In fact, I was in my best of moods. I was happy, and I posted this picture in 2019. I was like, new me, new beginnings. And the picture got a lot of traction, but most of it was good traction. To be honest, at the time, I can't recall any single negative comment in that post, because I think people who had followed me, they were people who 100% knew me. I was not a celebrity. So like, these are people who knew me. They just knew me. So you saying a bad comment, I'd be like, yo, I know you. I know what you're trying to say. So that's where Dennis became Dennis. I was not Dennis at the time. I was hiding who I was. Dennis, so I went back to that box that I locked Dennis up in high school. Chick, chick. The Pandora's box. Voila. Yeah, so I chose to be very intentional with being me, okay? Anything I felt like doing, I decided to do it. And this is now in 2019. At this time, in 2019, so many things happened in my business, by the way. So many things happened in my business. I got auctioned. Yeah, I got auctioned, which was not even my fault. Guys, I got auctioned, like someone made me get auctioned. So let me give you the story. Story within a story. So I had decided to fully commercialize my business and open a studio. I started by hiring a small, like you see when you're in a salon, there's a mirror that you can hire that mirror space. So I started with that, and I moved from that, and I now went to like a space whereby I have literally designed everything for myself. And this space it was subletting. So the landlady already had a space, and this space was big. So she told me, there's a free space at the front. You can occupy that, pay rent for that space. But then the whole building, she was not paying rent to the overall landlord or the management. So I was there for like 3 months, and now towards the end of 2019, I'm working on a client. It's a Saturday, busy. A call. They know. Kuna watu wako hapa. There are people who are here. Dennis, people are here and they are taking things. They are literally chotaing. They are grabbing. They are, your things are going. What can we do? And I'm like, why? I've paid my rent. I've always paid my rent. On the first day of the month, that's when this lady was. That first day, in fact, midnight, I think she was already. Daddy says your rent. And I've never even paid second. I was always paying in the first of the month. For her, on her side, she was not paying rent to the overall landlord. And she did not pay rent for like a good 13, 14 months. The rent had already reached $1 million plus. She has not paid her rent. So that was the reason why she was being auctioned. And, by virtue, the whole space was hers. So even if you had separated, like you had partitioned anything, technically all those things belong to her. So my blood and sweat. And I remember I am thankful because I have never really been the person to take loans. But for this specific space, I took a loan. Jesus, thank you for the lessons I've learned in this life. For this specific one, I had taken a loan, and I am so grateful because I had only stayed there for 3 months. And in these 3 months, I had already paid my loans, and I had enough savings to just push through, okay? And now COVID now has come. My space has no seats. My space has nothing. And also accessing that space is limited because you cannot open shop as usual. You can't set it up as usual, like open lights and everything, no. Because the landlord already has restricted, you cannot use this shop from now on. And it was looking like a mess. Like they had, removed things from the wall. So there was a lot of things happening. And I was still using this space during COVID. And chini ya maji. Yeah, so I used to get a booking, go open the door because literally there was no one in town. I could walk alone in town, open the door, wait for my client, and when my client comes in, we just go in secretly. I got some plastic chairs, put them there, did their makeup. So I used that space for a good 2-3 months. before now, I now got people who approached me and they wanted to now manage me as a brand and also my business. Yeah. So this management it was an international company that came to Kenya. They were quite new in Kenya. And one thing about the management is they brought out Dennis even more, and that's one thing I'm super grateful for. I think despite everything, the management did not limit me in any way. That's one. But then they did, and I'm coming there. I'm coming there. So, so you know, the bosses, the ones on top were international people, and they were very liberal. They were very open-minded, and they wanted Dennis to shake the world because whichever plan they had for me and my brand needed a lot of attention, so they wanted Dennis to be as controversial as possible so that Dennis can sell whatever he needs to sell. And they used to put me in that space of pushing me, because they insist that I need to have now content that's flowing throughout, okay? And I had a YouTube channel which was very basic, very basic channel. Woo! And so they got me production, and this production was supposed to now shoot me, doing me. So the very first video I did when I joined the agency, the very first video I did, the agency was they pampered us, the talents. They really pampered us. And I remember I signed the contract, and the next thing I know, I'm on a plane to Diani during COVID. So I was like, oh, it's the lifestyle for me. It's the lifestyle for me, and it's COVID. Hey, girl, I'm here for all of this. So I shot the very first video in Diani, and the management was like, this video is kind of basic, Dennis, so there's some work to put in there. So the video was just me trying, like I was testing out if the normal makeup we buy is waterproof, which it turned out to be waterproof, interestingly. The only thing that trend was a bit of the mascara, which was not waterproof mascara. So they said the video was boring, although it had views, but then they were like, your personality is not showing in this video. So I tried to be very, very, when you take this, you have to be, I was very, very, I don't know how to put it, proper. I was very, very proper. Eh? And they insisted, that's not who you are. You are, let me not say, I am just Dennis. I'm just Dennis. I'm who I am. And they told me, we cannot see that. So we went and did a second round. And, all this time, I was just inclined towards makeup. And it was not like me doing makeup content was just makeup. What about Dennis? His personality and everything. It's not showing through a tutorial. And I remember one day, it's still COVID time, and we were really struggling on finding shooting days because there are other influencers. But then this day I told them, I think I have an idea for what I want to shoot today. And I just told them I want to sit down and give people a story. So I just decided to sit down and give people a story. And this story was like about a 4-hour story. Girl, 4-hour story. And it had like a lot of part 1, part 2, and part 3. So you guys can head over to my channel, watch it. Yes. But I just told them, let me just tell people who I am. Let me just give people my story. And I gave them my story. And to be honest, those videos shot. They went up like this. And they were reaching hundreds of thousands of views. And the other ones were like tens of thousands. So not even like 50K, like 10K, 11K. These ones were hitting. Right now, they're even at 400,000, 300,000 views. And they were like, Dennis is a good storyteller. So that's how I started discovering myself more, my skill set. And I decided, now I incorporated makeup and storytelling at the same time. So that's just entertainment generally and also educational content. So that's where, I popped and I became who I am. Although, At some point, the bosses left Kenya and they left Kenyans to run the show. Problems. Well, problems. Oh my God. Yani, I could hear, the one who's supposed to be my manager saying that, Dennis, because of the kind of content you're putting out, I don't think YouTube is going to monetize you, and such frustrating things like, Dennis, you cannot be too much of this because you will get into this because of this, you cannot say this. It was not very comforting. It was actually very demeaning. And over time, the juice became less tasty. There was even no juice anymore. We could get gigs. I could go look for gigs, but then, they really don't want to pitch me because of who Dennis is. Or rather, I don't know. There was just some negativity. Like right now, I'm getting deals from these people who they told me they can never work with me. Yeah. And I'm just here asking myself, why? Why? So after the contract ended, after the period of contract ended, that's how I also ended ties with the management. I really hope they do things better. It's not okay to frustrate people based on who they are sometimes. But to be honest, against all odds, I really, really grew. I grew so much. And I also let go of the ideology that, fame is like a prison. No. I actually became so fond of it, and I loved the attention that I was getting, and I appreciated the fact that I represented I filled a certain gap, and I became so proud of the fact that so many people will talk to me in a way that they felt inspired. And flashback to 2018, 2019, the decision I made was to inspire people, because if you are yourself, you have the power to say no to some things. Yeah, you have the power. You know what is for you and what is not for you. So right now, where I'm at, I can genuinely say I am very much aware. I am more drawn to now myself more, and I have literally managed to break a lot of boundaries, to break a lot of, I've broken, right now, Dennis is more of a main, very soon I'll be on a billboard, guys. Yes, I don't know why I've said it, but I said it. So can you imagine Dennis being Dennis on a billboard in Kenya? Hey, it's the controversy for me, and I'm there for it, imagine. And my dad will be very proud of me as well, and I'm so happy that, my dad, right now, we're good. And who Dennis will be a super icon, an agent of change, because, based on what I've been through in my life, it's been such a beautiful journey, and I am super grateful for the journey, because it's always a journey, not a destination. I don't think people say, nikifika hapa ndo nimefika. I don't believe in destinations, because if the sky is the limit for you, I will go and pass the sky and keep on going. So I want Dennis to be viewed as a Kenyan icon who brought a lot of change, who brought a lot of light, who brought a lot of art, who brought a lot of creativity to the industry, who also challenged the industry in a very different way, in a very unique way. And I want Dennis to just shine. I want Dennis to shine. One day I'll not be here. One day I'll be dead, of course. What will I have left behind? I want to leave a legacy. I want this Dennis name to be more of a household name where people can relate to in whichever thing you may be going through my experiences. And I will also share experiences with other people who I feel like so many things happen in Africa. So many things happen in Africa. And Africa, before it was even named Africa, it was very original. Africa was very bold. Africa was very beautiful. Africa was very unique. Africa was very strong. Africa was very present. Africa had beauty. Africa had architecture. Africa had industries. Africa had organizations. Africa, before it was even called Africa, it was still thriving the way she should thrive. So ever since the colonial period and everything, things have changed over time. And to be honest, there has been a lot of brainwash, that's for sure. And part of that is what has led to so many people suffering. And my purpose, I feel like my purpose is to shed some light that it's okay. It's okay. Things are okay in as much as they are not. But the truth is that things are fine and the journey is good, but you have to be aware. You have to know that what you are doing is what you are supposed to be doing. There's something that's called living in purpose, and that's where I've stepped into. Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Legally Clueless powered by Guinness. Be sure to check out the new Guinness Black Shines Brightest Stories show that spotlights some of Kenya's most amazing and bold artists within the food, dance, fashion, and creative arts, showcasing our rich culture and the future of Kenyan art within Africa and beyond. You can catch all these incredible stories right now on the Guinness Kenya YouTube channel. And remember, you can catch all new Legally Clueless podcast episodes every Monday across all podcasting platforms, as well as new Legally Clueless video episodes on Fridays, only right here on the Legally Clueless YouTube channel.